I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. Both my parents were trained as educators. My mother was a school teacher, and my father first started out as an extension officer with the Ministry of Agriculture. He went to farm school and himself was a farmer, and later on he was an educator in Jamaica's drive for complete literacy of all adults on the island. I came to this country to get away from farming and get away from that background, and to probably follow in my parents' footsteps, but a little step further. So I went to college, and I transferred to college in New York, and I did business. And for over 20 years of my life, I was in marketing and advertising. In 2008, the economy crashed, and I found myself volunteering in spaces that embraced community growing, connected to an organization called Sustainable Flatbush, where they helped community members to develop community gardens. And it was through that connection that my work in growing food started. And over the next 4 years, I engaged in not only community gardening, but volunteering on other sites and doing a lot of education around growing food. I got a job with the International Rescue Committee on their New York New Roots program as a seasonal farm worker, urban farm worker. And from that job, after working there for a year or two, I was introduced to a project in the South Bronx called Kelly Street Garden, and the mission of the project was for community members to grow food in a community garden that straddled the back of their affordable housing complex and serve the food insecure in their neighborhood. In doing this work and learning more about what it means to be food secure and learning how that intertwines with sovereignty, I've become involved in other works around food justice. I have given a lot of workshops around my work. I am the board president of Just Food, an organization that has been around for over 25 years and whose work is also steeped in sovereignty in communities that have been otherized or marginalized, to learn how to build their own projects. We have one of the largest CSA networks within New York City. I am also the Bronx and Queens FSA representative on the Urban County Committee. This is the first time that FSA has made its foray into urban agriculture in New York City, and I am on the inaugural committee. In New York City, we have, I believe, over 700 community growing spaces. Many of these community gardens and urban farms are in lower income communities that are under-resourced and underserved. What I have come to realize is how integral green spaces are to the holistic well-being of a city. I think we should rethink how we look at urban spaces and recognize that green spaces are an integral part of the well-being of cities. What keeps me going in this work is the responses to the people who are involved in this work. I see tangible change. When people become engaged in growing, when people become engaged in community, it's a sea change in their attitudes, it's a sea change in how they see their environment, it's a sea change in how they see other people. A lot of our growing spaces are integrated, a lot of our growing spaces attract diverse demographics. We have refugees, we have asylum seekers, we have undocumented, we have people from the Caribbean, from the African diaspora. It's just an amalgam of many different types of people. And they come together in a community, and the concept of growing food together does something to the psyche of people. I continue to do this work because I believe that it is a way in which to begin to make changes in my own environment. Having been involved in corporate for more than 20 years, I was accustomed to a hierarchical leadership structure. Not that that there is anything really inherently wrong in that structure. What I realized is that a more collaborative approach gets the work further along. And since our work is not dependent upon the profit motive, it is dependent upon building community, a collaborative approach is something that I had to learn. I began to understand that people who live in my community, that we otherize, who don't have the academic credentials, that never, that don't have the economic well-being that we ascribe to people who are successful, actually do know, by living in their own community, do know what is necessary for the well-being of their own community. And what I learned is to listen to them, to ask their opinion, and to integrate what they are telling me is needed in their own community for it to grow. So my style as being a leader has changed dramatically to one who just determines by myself or with a small group of people what is needed in our community, and become more open and more collaborative. I see it in the way we set up our garden structure. We have a collaborative meeting at the beginning of the season. We hear the voices of everyone. And I know it takes a longer time. And guess what? We have been doing it for 8 years. So we are accustomed to the fact that it takes a longer time, and actually relish in the idea that it takes a longer time to arrive at a consensus, because we know the end vision is greater. Some of the responsibilities that I take on as a leader can add it more than adequately. Sometimes most times exceptionally done well by other people in my community as well. So therefore the knowledge of sharing those responsibilities is something that I'm learning more and more of. I believe that the projects that I've successfully stewarded and helped to lead are a blueprint for other successful projects. Yeah, I strongly believe that the work that I've been doing for the past 8 years or more is a blueprint for other similar projects, developing green spaces, but also educating people about what it's like to live what it means to live in a collaborative environment, what it means to build a community around collaborative thinking, and what it means to take care of the land, what it means to take care of your natural environment. And one of our dreams, our community member dreams, is to actually acquire land further north so that we can expand this program, build a bridge between our urban endeavors and a rural environment so that we can expand the reach of our programs and incorporate more people, especially the fact that we serve black and brown population mostly, who are usually the most underserved. A much more expansive program that teaches not only the basics of agriculture and horticulture, but incorporates art and healing. The dream is maybe 4 or 5 acres, some infrastructure where people learn how to take care of animals, people learn how to grow herbs, people know how to grow collectively, have a place of respite where they can just be out in nature. Sometimes many of our community members don't have that opportunity. One of the things we struggle with here is funding. One of the things I struggle with is funding, even to support my own well-being. It is well known that farmers don't get paid very well. To be able to be more, to receive a little funding, to be able to be more economically secure, frees me up to be able to dream bigger, think bigger, to be able to do this work. And to work more collaborative and work more openly, not work more openly, but just bring a sense of assurance that I can continue to build without the restriction of wondering, do I have enough money to do this?